Hi everyone, my name is Levy. I'm a major personality working on 92.7 Bob FM. I do a live morning radio show, events MC, weddings corporate MC, and motivational speaker as well. Looking at this COVID-19, it is a pandemic that has affected literally the whole world. A couple of countries, few that have not yet battled this COVID-19. But looking at my country, where I come from, Uganda, area code 256, it's a couple of things that have been faced, a couple of things that have affected us. But I want to look at COVID-19 on the positivity side of it. A couple of things we have not been able to do that I feel we have learned to do and actually to do them better. Things like family bonding. You realize in some families, there are men who wake up early in the morning, vis-a-vis the women as well. All they do is wake up early in the morning, don't have time to do breakfast, and they just go to work. During lockdown, women are actually amazed that their men wake up in the morning, do them breakfast because they're home, which has helped families bond better, even with their children. Some of us don't know things that affect our children when they're at school, even when they're home, where we aren't at times because we are working most of the time. So this has given us time to bond with our children, bond with our wives, bond with our husbands, bond with literally even our neighbors. Some of us never speak to neighbors, but this is a time we have learned to bond and speak to them. We now know what they do, because when you know what your neighbor does, it is easier. We never know where our potential clients are. Things like looking at the healthy part of it, things like working out indoors. Working out is something that is supposed to be culture, something that literally everybody has to adopt. However small your room is, however huge it is, you can do some of these things in your houses. The other healthy part of it is we have learned that we can do away with junk food on a daily basis. Junk food, burgers, pizza. We can actually adopt to eating proteins, eating a balanced diet on a daily basis, which is actually more healthy for our bodies. Things like saving. Saving is something that has always been taken for granted. But this has been an eyes opener that whenever you have some money on the side, that money is going to help you go through such kind of situations. People take it for granted. However little you earn, even if it's 1,000 shillings you save on a daily basis, trust me, it is something and it counts. Because when you look at 1,000 Ugandan shillings for a week, that is approximately how much? That is 7,000. That is some money for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bank, because some people can't access their banks right now, but you can actually keep that money on your phone. We have also learned that we can never survive with one source of income. Most of us have been without jobs. Good jobs, by the way, and in good money. But right now, we are not receiving salaries. Why? Because those good jobs that we have been having, they are not generating any income. We no longer have clients. Let's adopt to having something on the side. Things like farming, things like a couple of things we can do from home, because there are people actually making money from their homes, So looking at the positivity part of COVID-19, we have also learned that as a country, we can start exporting our own goods. We have been importing most of these things. We're importing cars, we're importing foodstuffs, we're importing clothing. We can do those things here, which would actually boost our economy. Funny enough, some of us didn't know how to cook, but now we know. Why? Because restaurants are not working. So how are we going to survive? We can't survive on snacks from morning to morning. We have learned how to cook, which is a good thing that I think many people have adopted amid us this season. And looking at the political side of it, Ugandans, I think this is a time for us to learn and understand the people we elect when we are electing them for our different constituencies. I'm shouting out to all the MPs out there who have given back to their people. But we know there are some of those that have not done anything as yet. To them, it's all about them. Now, that is something that needs to stop. That is something we need to work upon as Ugandans. We need to think wisely before we vote. And I'm also, I'd love to thank, as I wind up, I'd love to thank the head of state, His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, for the directives he has given to us as a country, as a nation, to fight this COVID-19 pandemic. Why am I saying this? It is because when you look at our neighboring countries, we are actually better. And why? Because we learned how to fight this pandemic. We were told how we can fight it, and we adhered to the ways on how we can fight it. I'm thanking Ugandans as well for being calm, for listening to the directives from the head of state, and because of that, we are free as a country. Because of that, we don't have many cases as other countries have. We don't have any deaths, which is something I'd love to applaud Ugandans for. I remain Levy, but of course I would love to thank Echo Mindsets, Lutakome Impressions for this directive. This is something that is not only going to be an impact to people high end, but we are also looking at people who are not earning, people who are suffering. This is something that is going to help them. Thank you so much for this initiative. I remain Levy. Thank you so much.